swept. It's Duke week, everyone. Let's beat them twice. Is that good? Okay.
From the Hussman School of Journalism and Media at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, covering the full range of Tar Heel athletics. This is Sports Extra.
With Bill Belichick and his bye week, we have to turn our attention to the courts.
And it's the perfect time to do so because UNC women's sports had another dominant weekend, which comes as a surprise to absolutely no one.
No one at all. Hello and welcome to Sports Extra. I'm Madeline Heichu.
And I'm Charlie Costal. On Friday, the volleyball team opened ACC play in Carmichael against the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. Carolina started the first set tight, but pulled through with dynamic plays like this Jackie Taylor slam. That was one of 5 kills for her. The Heels took the first set 25-19. In the second set, the Deeks kept on Carolina's heels. It was back and forth scoring. Blocks like this one by Lainey Smith and Jackie Taylor helped the Tar Heels take the second set 25-22. Set 3 came with a slow start for the Heels, but it didn't take long for Carolina to take off with a scoring streak. Ultimately, it was Jackie Taylor with a quick touch to score the match point. Carolina wins 3-0. And on Sunday, the Wolfpack came to Carmichael. State struck first, taking the opening set 25-19. But Carolina answered quick. Behind strong swings from Haley Pierce and Safi Hampton, the Tar Heels dominated the second set 25-15 to even the match. UNC kept momentum in the third, with Hampton and Chelsea Thorpe delivering key points late to secure a 25-21 win. In the fourth, Thorpe came up clutch with back-to-back kills to seal the set 25-23 and the match 3-1.
As a team, like the defense behind us is going to do better as well, so we were playing great defense as a whole.
With the win, North Carolina improves to 9-2 and turns its attention to another rivalry matchup, this time against Duke, later this week. Now, Maddie, I know that you were at all of these games, so what are your thoughts moving ahead to Duke?
I'm thinking we need to toss it over to Kate McCullough, our volleyball expert. Kate?
Thanks, Maddie. I'm joined by Sports Extra's very own Zoe Barrett, who also happens to be the amazing setter for the volleyball team. Zoe, we have swept the state. Now I have to ask, how did it feel to beat NC State for the first time since 2022?
I mean, awesome. I was actually talking to Mike, our head coach, before the game, and I was like, Mike, I haven't beaten State before. And he was like, neither have I as head coach. So it was that much sweeter beating them for the first time.
Yeah, and I know you did get your second double-double within these in-state games against State. How did that feel? Or who contributed to that process?
I mean, so a double-double is basically where I get 10 digs and double that, at least 20 assists. And I really have to contribute my double-double to the rest of my team. And I want to shout out Chelsea Thorpe specifically because she had 22 kills against ECU and then double digits again yesterday. So she does a great job.
Awesome, awesome. And then I know a lot of preparation went into the state game, but we've got a big athletic rivalry coming up against Duke. What sort of preparation is going into that game?
I mean, Mondays are usually our off day, but we're going to be practicing today. We're going to be scouting. And you know, emotions run high when we play the other blue, so we're really excited.
Yeah. Well, make sure to come support the volleyball team this Wednesday at 7 at Carmichael. Thanks, Zoe. Back to you guys at the desk.
I know I'll be there cheering on our Tar Heels as they play the Blue Devils this Wednesday.
We want to take a second to highlight one of our Tar Heels that has been an absolute standout this weekend. Chelsea Thorpe, 6'3" outside hitter for Carolina volleyball, had 7 blocks against the Wolfpack, smashing her previous record of 5. And she recently had another career high. I know we sound like a broken record, but 22 kills against ECU last week. The redshirt junior transferred to UNC last season from Ohio State, where she tallied 35 blocks, 55 digs, and 232 career kills across 29 games.
Friday evening, Carolina field hockey went down the road to Kettner Stadium to face off against the Demon Deacons. It was a scoreless match until the last 5 minutes of regulation time. Carolina's Sana Hawk floats one over to Eliza Perrin, who delivers the ball to the back of the net. The Demon Deacons responded just minutes later with a goal by Lauren Story off a penalty corner, sending the game to overtime. In the second overtime, Mia Schuenbeck converted off another penalty corner, ending the match 2-1, Carolina's first loss of the season. Carolina field hockey then headed to Chestnut Hill to take on Boston College on Sunday. Down 1-0 entering the fourth, Carolina cashes in on a set piece. First year Isabel Bohr cleans up a penalty corner chance from Danny Mendez to level it. 5 minutes later, the pressure breaks through again as Riley Heck gets taken down in the box to set up a penalty stroke. Sana Hawk steps to the spot and buries it with 3:25 left. The Tar Heels control the run of play, outshooting BC 17-7 and earning a 9-3 edge in corners as they close out a 2-1 comeback on the road. Now, let's take it over to Riley Heck and Sophia Gray to hear what Riley had to say about the game on this weekend.
Right, I'm here live at Karen with
Issues with the live shot.
But it's okay because Wake Forest scored both their overtime goal and one goal during a Carolina's down a player situation. I mean, these situations obviously had to affect their approach defensively and offensively, but hopefully they've been able to learn from that and shift a little bit.
Now, I'm not sure if you can play field hockey, Maddie, but my mom played field hockey, so it's a little bit in my DNA, but certainly not enough to play out there with Riley Heck underneath the lights.
Yeah, definitely I cannot.
But I can't wait to watch them take on Old Dominion next week, and I'm not alone. Jesse Carrico tells us about one superfan who is making his way to every game he can.
6.5 years ago, UNC alum Randall Keene was diagnosed with ALS.
It was tough. Just getting the diagnosis was a big slap in the face, but I've overcome the odds. I'm living longer than the average for life expectancy.
After retiring in 2022, Keene found he had time on his hands, and he attended some Carolina baseball games in the spring.
Carolina baseball went into the regionals and super regionals, and that was so much fun.
The next season, Keene decided to buy season tickets and attended more than 30 games here at the Bosch.
Then Keene decided to expand to more Carolina sports, becoming a season ticket holder for both women's basketball and most recently football, after his daughter, Avery, began attending UNC.
We're big football fans and gave us an opportunity to see her, even for 10 or 15 minutes.
For Keene, this journey has been completely worth it.
I get to spend a little time with Avery, but I get to be here where I love to be back in the early 80s.
Now, Keene is committed to attending every sport he can that he didn't experience as a student. And of course, there's one more thing to say.
Beat Duke.
I'm Jesse Carrico, reporting.
Randall Keene is an inspiration for us all, and we wish him well in his battle with ALS. And hopefully, in the Diamond Heels offseason, he can make his way from the Bosch to Dorrance, where the North Carolina Tar Heel men's soccer team traveled to Charlottesville to take on the University of Virginia Cavaliers on Saturday night. In the 58th minute, Emmanuel Math slipped a perfect through ball to Nacho Abiel, who fired just over the bar. Later in the 86th, Lucas Ross nearly stole it with a shot that curled just wide of the far post. Goalkeeper Andrew Cordes was steady all night, making 2 saves and collecting his and the defense's 4th clean sheet of the season. With the scoreless final, the Tar Heels moved to 4-1 and 4 overall, 0-4 in the ACC. Unbeaten, but also winless in the conference. You know, Maddie, after UVA's heroic football win against FSU this weekend, I know we only came out with a draw, but it's nice to see them knocked out. And I know that the rain was definitely making it a difficult outing for both teams, but I think they can move on with some confidence.
Well, speaking of confidence, I think our women's soccer team is looking to build some. This Thursday, UNC women's soccer is taking on Boston College here at Dorrance Field. The Tar Heels are 7-4 this season, coming off 2 consecutive losses. Headed into this matchup, Olivia Thomas is leading Carolina in goals this season with 9, including 1 against Notre Dame last weekend. The Eagles are 4-3-5 with no wins in the ACC conference so far this season. Sophia Real is leading Boston College in goals this season with 6. Their last 2 matches ended with 0-0 ties against Cal and Wake Forest. UNC women's soccer is coming off back-to-back losses, so let's toss it over to Matchups with Malik to hear what it will take to get the Tar Heels back in motion.
Thanks, Madeline. Now with 2 losses on the heels back, Carolina is looking to hitch a ride on recovery road, so I want to start with some quick statistics. We're going to take a look at the shots, the fouls, and the saves. So when we're looking at our shots and then fouls and then our saves as well, we're going to see that Carolina is actually faring pretty well with these highly ranked opponents such as the Seminoles and the Fighting Irish. But now I want to dive a little bit deeper into some of the pain points and those growth areas after that battle with the Fighting Irish a few days ago by taking a look at this full-length play. So it's going to be pretty important. We're going to see that ball is kicked over down to the Tar Heels, and we've got Bella Davy, a freshman, down here. But what's going to happen, because it's so low, is that we're going to see the Fighting Irish start to press on the heels. This is going to result in them coming up, and it's going to bring the ball back out this way. So we're going to see some good play over here, but it's going to result in the ball coming back down here, and then I want to stop the ball right here because we're going to see how we've got freshman Riley Kennedy, number 6, right here, and we're going to see a little bit of an incident. There's a little bit of a turnover, so big mistake there. But what's going to happen then is that we've got Izzy Engel. We talked about Izzy Engel last week. She's a really good player for Notre Dame, and so we knew that she was going to be good. This was going to be a tough battle for the Heels. It's going to result in Izzy Engel taking the ball up. But look at this. We've got all of these players, but we got to get a little bit tighter here. We're seeing that that UNC is really fighting here, but ultimately Engel is going to take that goal from outside of the box, and it is going to be a goal. But what's such a big deal about this is that the Tar Heels have really limited those goals in the first half throughout the entire season. So ultimately, it's going to be important to go forward, reduce those turnovers, make sure that our midfielders and defense are really staying tight on the back end. Ultimately, BC lost yesterday against Stanford, so it'll be an exciting test for the Heels when they take them on.
Let's see if the Tar Heels can make a recovery when they face off against Boston College on Dorrance Field at 7 p.m. on Thursday.
UNC women's tennis traveled down the road to Cary to compete in the ITA Women's All-American Championships. Doubles pair Reese Brantmeyer and Alanis Hamilton fell in a nail-biting semifinal match to Oklahoma's duo. Despite the loss, the 2 Heels qualified for the NCAA Doubles Championship in Orlando, Florida. Brantmeyer and junior Tatum Evans also qualified for the postseason after advancing to the quarterfinals in their singles matches.
Well, I know they played Duke in Richmond this weekend, and I'm excited for lacrosse to see some preseason schedule. Let's take a look at it. Rounding out this fall with a matchup against England's national team. So, what matchup are you most looking forward to seeing?
I mean, I think the obvious answer is the England national team. And I think if anybody's ready for a national team as a college organization, it's us. Last season, they took the national championship. It was a huge season. There's a lot of pressure going in. And starting off with Duke will also be an interesting matchup. So I'm excited to see how they play.
Yes, I'm excited to see how they start and end their fall season. But the Tar Heels swim teams dove into their season with a dual meet against Queens College on Friday. The Tar Heels wasted no time making a statement, sweeping the men's and women's 200 medley relays. UNC kept the momentum up and took first and second in the 1,000-meter freestyle in both men's and women's races. Louis Stram set a pool record for the men's 200 individual medley with a time of 1:43.15. The Tar Heels celebrate their first win of the season with the men defeating Queens 166-93 and the women winning 173-83. I'm sorry, I missed that.
A couple years, it's still like people used to competing again, getting used to stepping up on the blocks and getting that excitement about racing. So today was very successful.
see some swim success, but the Belichick experiment is not going well right now. So what's better than looking towards basketball? For a preview of the roster, let's go to our men's basketball analyst, Grace, for Nothing But Nugent.
Thanks, Maddie.
Yes, so I'm very excited to kind of see what she has to say because I know personally we have so many recruits coming in. I'm a little bit nervous to see how these recruits fare out compared to our loss of veterans. Let's toss it over right now to Grace and see what she says.
Maddie, 13 is the magic number for the men's basketball team. There are 13 new Tar Heels and only 13% of minutes are returning from last year. There are a ton of new kids on the block and heavy expectations on head coach Hubert Davis. So let's look at some of these new faces. We're going to start with the guys behind me, the bigs. Jaron Stevenson, a transfer from Alabama, joins Henry Vassar from Arizona. They join Caleb Wilson, a highly touted 5-star freshman power forward. All three have size. They can play off the glass, and they're looking to hone that low post presence, something that the team lacked last year. Now, there's a lot of people in this guard room, but let's focus on the big three that have really stood out. In freshman Derek Dixon, he played on the Nike circuit, and he knows how to spread the court. Kyan Evans, a junior transfer from Colorado State, who's really come into his own with his shot. And then Seth Trimble, the guy we all know, the athletic veteran. Now, none of these guys have been the primary ball handler or played a true one, so one of the three will have to step up. Early signs show that this team is strong in the front. The big question is, how will the guard play set their ceiling? And above all, how well will these new faces perform together out on the court?
Thanks, Grace. We cannot wait for this upcoming Tar Heel season. I mean, I know she said 13 recruits are coming, but 13's kind of an unlucky number, but I'm hoping we can kind of turn that stereotype around and get a 13 lucky season.
I do as well. There's a lot of pressure going into this season, right? We got 13 new guys, and we kind of need them to hit the ground running immediately. But luckily, they will be under the supervision of Seth Trimble. I just personally am praying that his business ventures down at the ice cream parlor aren't impeding on off-season development. However, I think that we have a really solid pickup in Henry Vassar. He was a big lob finisher at Arizona. I think he's going to contribute very heavily to this offense.
Yes, and speaking of big names, we have some Tar Heels in the pros. So the Tar Heels might have been idle this week, but a former Carolina quarterback is slicing up NFL defenses in Foxborough. Drake May delivered a standout performance for the Patriots against his hometown Panthers on Sunday. He struck first with a 5-yard touchdown run, and the dual-threat quarterback was just getting started, connecting with Hunter Henry in the third quarter for a massive 31-yard score. May later found fellow Tar Heel Mac Hollins for his second score through the air. The 42-13 win marked New England's first home victory as May finished with 203 passing yards, 3 total touchdowns, and an absurd 82.4% completion rate. In golf, pro and Chapel Hill native Ben Griffin is the second Tar Heel to compete in the Ryder Cup, with Davis Love III being the first in 2004. Griffin won his match by 1 with clutch putting, part of a dramatic fight back from Team USA on Sunday, but Europe eked out a 15-13 win.
The Hausman School of Media and Journalism has been equipping its students to enter the professional industry with the skills and experience needed to succeed after college. Eliza Jennings tells us how one alumni of the school is doing just that.
The Hausman School has been providing opportunities for students to get a taste of the professional field while simultaneously preparing them to step into the industry after college. Caitlin Schmidt graduated from UNC in 2023, and since then she has jump-started her career in the sports industry as an associate manager of content partnerships for the Bleacher Report.
Right now, I deal with our partnerships as a media company. So we have partnerships with leagues like the NFL, the NBA, MLB, Unrivaled, Big 12, etc. So it's my job to be that point of contact when we go externally to the leagues, asking about access, footage, IP usage, etc., and making sure we communicate that to our various stakeholders at VR.
Has attributed her success she has now in her career to the opportunities and experiences she received while at Hausman, taking advantage of anything she could to allow herself to stand out.
I worked with Sports Xtra, which helped gain a broadcasting background for me. I anchored and was around the show for 5 semesters. And I also got to work on the Hausman documentaries. documentaries with Dr. T, and we did documentaries on women's lacrosse, women's tennis, and field hockey.
After graduating from Carolina, Caitlin's advice to current and incoming Husman students is to focus on fostering connections with those around them.
People that you admire, see like the traits and qualities that they have, and spend time with them. There are so many ways to also take your career into your own hands and find something that is special to your path as well.
I'm Eliza Jennings, reporting.
UNC students can look at Caitlin's success as motivation for what's to come after their time at Carolina. And you know what I'm motivated for, Maddie? My favorite time of the week? Play of the week. So without further ado, let's take it into our first play from the UNC volleyball team. Lauren Shutter, the middle blocker, had a huge kill, helping lead the Tar Heels to yet another win after a set. From Sports Extra's own Zoe Barron.
And now for play number 2, we have women's soccer, Lauren Malsum. I don't know if you're a soccer fanatic like me, but she got her first brace of her career. That means 2 goals in the same game. Look at these going straight to the back of the net.
We have some really great plays to choose from, so tune in on Friday to find out the winner of this week's Play of the Week. And earlier this month, UNC faced App State in their first in-state matchup of the year. The game was extra special as UNC volleyball honored App State's Allie Walden as she was undergoing a long fight with cancer. Allie passed yesterday morning, but her story continues to inspire so many in the volleyball world. Zoe Barron had the opportunity to speak with Allie's teammates, coaches, and friends before she passed.
Allie Walden was diagnosed with cancer while playing volleyball under Coach Chad Sutton at Mercer University. Her fight reminds all of us that volleyball is more than just a game.
There's a lot of things going on in the world, and there's all these different battles that people have, and Allie's fighting for her life, and she's fighting for to have a normal life again.
UNC volleyball faced App State in Chapel Hill on September 16th. The in-state rivalry was set aside as UNC honored Allie by wearing custom t-shirts to warm up and recognizing her before the game began.
Like, it really is bigger than volleyball. Like, to see the amount of people that came out last night in support of Allie, both staffs, both teams wearing their shirts at the beginning, it's just really cool.
I play her all the time in club, and she was always one of those teammates that's like, I see her at tournaments, and it's like, okay, let me go talk to Allie, like, let me go unpack with her.
Allie was known to be a light in the volleyball community, supporting everyone she came into contact with.
When I first got there, she always asked how I was made sure I was okay, like good, like just overwhelmingly, like genuinely, like so herself and so nice and so positive.
Even though this specific game was about Allie,
We are unfortunately having technical difficulties with the package, but we want to take a second before we go to honor Allie. And from everyone here at Sports Extra, send our love to her family and friends. Her light continues to shine on and off the court. Extra.
We'll be back on Friday for a preview of another weekend of exciting Carolina athletics.